Welcome to the Inside Out Money Podcast.
Can't even recognize this place. Too many pieces of our past mistakes.
Hi, I'm Maggie, and I believe real change starts from the inside out. So let's work together to improve our money and our lives from the inside out. We will explore all things money and our relationship with it. Join me each week with a rotating set of co-hosts, friends, and interviews. Let's jump in.
It's time we going round and round and round and round and round.
Hi there. Okay, this is the second half of last week's episode, which is episode 40, What We Spent in 2023, part 1. This is now part 2, and Andrew, Liz, and then Greg and I go through a little bit more of a deep dive into specific categories of our 2023 expenses. We specifically break down our food spending in more detail than you probably want to know, and we get into all sorts of discussion about what we're what we're each eating lately, I guess I would say. Andrew's learned about a Vitamix. He's discovered smoothies and soups, which somehow he never knew about. And we get into our utility bills, cell phones, what we're spending on streaming services, and our utility like gas and electric spending in more detail. We hope this is helpful, and we'll get right into part 2. Thank you so much. Should we go back to food now and talk about that breakdown? Because people want to hear about food.
Let's talk about food.
That's what you came for. Let's talk about food.
Show me the money on food.
Okay.
Do you want to start with totals?
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
totals. We'll remind people. You were going to do like a subtotal breakdown within the food category, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll start.
Okay.
Oh,
Go.
okay.
No, go.
So, what were you going to say?
No, I wasn't going to start. I didn't know if we were going to hit the breakdown, but because we break them all down differently. So you go down all yours and then we'll go
Yeah,
down.
I agree. Yeah, you're right.
We pretty much have it like groceries, restaurants, takeout, coffee.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
It's pretty much the same four, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just have our travel food. But
But
yeah, it's
for
close.
example, I was looking at Maggie's and I was like, whoa, we spent less on restaurants than Maggie and Greg. And I was like, oh, because you just have one category for restaurants, for takeout and restaurants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put together, and I have it separated out. So that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's to your point of with the driving. I was just like, I don't give a shit if it's a coffee bar or if it's a takeout or a restaurant. I just want to know when I'm cooking at home versus when I'm paying someone else to cook for me was sort of Anyway,
It's interesting. So I'll tell you first, our total for food for 2 adults, and I will say 2 adults who are not trying to not spend money on food,
Yeah.
not trying to be a role model. We spent a total of $15,139 on food, which is about $7,500 per person. I'll also tell you, it's about $1,260 per month, which I knew was about right. Most months end up being about $1,300 total, or it's like $600 plus per person per month. And I really like to break down food spending. So driving spending, I don't like to break it down. I'm like, one category for driving. I don't need to know if it was gas. I don't need to know if it was tolls, whatever. I didn't get to make a choice. I just needed to go somewhere. And sometimes you have to pay for parking and sometimes you don't. Food spending, I like to break it down because energetically, I feel like picking up takeout feels very different than going to a sit-down restaurant. So my categories are groceries, groceries, sit-down restaurants, takeout, coffee shops, and then alcohol I break out separately. So it was $15K total.
Yeah, I do
sorry,
the same exact breakout as you do.
I like it. Me and Andrew are doing it right.
Yeah. We'll have to break ours out this way next year so we can truly do it.
Greg's like, no
Greg's
way.
like,
yeah, have at it. When I'll teach you how to use Monarch.
I'm sorry. I would like to change that statement. We will not be breaking ours out next year this way. But I tried.
Yeah.
So, all right, let me just run through the totals. So the restaurant's total was about $3,500, or it was about $295 per month. Takeout was about $1,700, or about $140 per month. Coffee shops was $700, or about $58 per month. Alcohol was $950, or it was about $79 per month. And then groceries, obviously, is always the biggest one, was $8,200 or just under $700 per month. And I like to break it out because takeout, sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes you just didn't plan and you go to Chipotle and it's fine and you feed yourself. But like restaurants for me are an experience and I love it. And like it's a date night or it's going out with friends or it's like trying a new place with ambiance or it's, even just a random sit down taco place is still like, a little weeknight date night. And that to me is like not a place I'm trying to cut spending. Takeout, I'm like, if I need to pull back, that's probably where I'd want to.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, I don't know. If I had to pull back though, I would like find a loophole and I'd be like, babe, we're going to Chipotle and we're going to like eat in the restaurant tonight because I needed to go into the restaurant. We're going to like bring a tablecloth.
I would still count that as.
Have you seen that meme where there's like a couple at Costco and they've brought like a tablecloth and like candles and they've like set up a table and they're eating like the Costco like pizza and hot dog for
That's amazing.
$2.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny, and I think, Liz, everything you said makes a lot of sense. And for us, I don't think it, like Maggie, for instance, does not like eating out. So we can get food from like a great restaurant.
No,
Maggie's
I like to eat
I
out.
prefer to eat at home in front of TV. So it feels like.
I don't like to sit in another location and eat their food. I like to eat their food.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I want to take it home. Yeah, I just want to clarify. I love eating out.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat the actual food out.
So it's so funny. I'm like the exact opposite.
Unless it's with if it's socially with other people, I'm totally down for it.
Maggie's like, if I can let this food sit for 20, 25 minutes, get a little cold, I'm happy.
That's so funny.
Get on my couch. I eat best while sitting on a couch, so that's really what I prefer.
I keep thinking about something you said in one episode, I can't remember when, but you were like, yeah, and when I get home, I have to wait until the TV show starts before I start eating my food. And I've noticed this. I'm like, no, actually, I never noticed that until you said that, but I'm the same way. Like I try not to eat dinner in front of the TV, but if I do, and I sit down and I'm like waiting, and then, we haven't started the show yet because we both haven't sat down. I will wait and I won't take a bite until the show starts because there is a special pleasure and joy in eating your dinner while watching a TV show.
Yeah, food tastes different and the TV watches different.
I agree.
There's
you guys
something. It's kind of OCD.
So weird. I never.
Where do you eat on your bike?
I never eat food
Probably
in front
most
of
the
TV.
time.
Well, first, I don't watch any TV, so
look, that's probably a good habit, Andrew. I'm just like it is my vice, and Greg knows I'm super weird about it. I'm like borderline OCD about it, where I'm we'll really want to go eat out, and I'm like, okay, I mean, if you really want to go in that place and eat, I will, but if you don't care, can we take it home? And Greg's really nice sometimes. And then when we go home, you can take your hoodie off and undress. You can do whatever you want in the comfort of our own home, Greg.
Just like to eat cold food naked on the couch.
Exactly.
But it's too cold in our house to do that. So
fair point. Okay, let's move on.
Okay. Let me say one more thing about food and then I will pass to Andrew. I also like to break out coffee shops. One, because I think it's just a different kind of spending in my mind. And also because that's a place I'm consciously trying to make sure I spend sort of a minimum. There are some great local coffee shops in my neighborhood. And I want to make sure that I'm spending money there. And I feel really good about that. And so I like that being broken out separately.
Yeah.
Well, I like the way you describe all that, Liz. And I know I was saying I track mine differently, but I think all of it points to intentional spending. You track it the way that makes sense for you. And I think that to me, I think I've said this before, but that's the resounding issue is you want to spend intentionally, and your tracking method should reflect that as opposed to your tracking method driving how you spend.
I think you're 100% spot on. All right, Andrew, I looked at your numbers and I thought that your annual numbers were monthly.
The $18 he spent on coffee. Yeah, I thought that was a weekly number, perhaps. I wasn't sure how he broke
even
that down.
the takeout. I was like, oh, that's kind of a lot for per month.
Andrew reminds me, there was a movie called I'm Gonna Get You Sucker with Chris Rock when he was 18, and he goes into a barbecue place and he's nickel and diming them about what he can get.
Yeah.
And he's like, how much for ribs? And they're like, it's, however much. And he's like, well, how much for one rib? And he's like, we don't sell them by the rib, And then he's like, how much for a sip of Coke? And he goes, can I pay you 10 cents? And he's like, our cups are more than 10 cents. And he's like, fuck the cup. Just pour it in my hands. And I think with your 18 on coffee, I can imagine, do you just go in and say I'll just have a sip of coffee today?
Yeah.
Just a shot.
Yeah. So this is definitely where we are very weird. I fully 100% admit that we are very weird when it comes to our food spending and just how different it is from most people. So clarify that. So there are some big asterisks on this. So on the alcohol, both Crystal and I don't drink, so the alcohol spend is 0. So that's one right off the bat that puts us in the weird category. The second
It's
one,
not weird, by the way.
I mean, it's like it's unusual, but
Yeah.
just to be clear, none of us are like shaming you for not drinking alcohol.
That's good,
This
thank
isn't
you.
like high school.
If anything,
We're
it's
why
like-
aren't you cool? Oh
Yeah,
my
it's like
God.
trendier and trendier to not drink lately. So we're actually the lame ones. You guys are progressive. You've not
I
drank
just-
since I've known you. You've never had alcohol in your entire life. Can I say that?
Correct.
He's never. I remember when we were. So
Yeah.
this is the difference between being like 20 something and knowing you, Andrew, and being like a 40 something adult. When we were 20 something and we worked at Home Depot together, we would always like be like, "Oh, we want to take you and get you drunk." Like we wanted to get, we wanted to like ruin his, and like people have reasons for not drinking, right? And we were like, we wanted to corrupt him and be like, "No, we're gonna get you drunk, Andrew." And as a 40-year-old, if I had a friend that like was telling me they didn't drink, I'd be like, "Oh, cool, good for you, dude."
Yeah.
Like, but we really, I think, peer pressured you probably more than once to drink.
There were multiple times, yes.
Yeah,
and you would
I
not be the
apologize.
first one to try. Yes.
Yeah, I apologize for my early 20-year-old self.
Yeah, so our alcohol spend is 0. And then on the coffee side, I don't drink coffee, but Crystal does. And she just makes a pot at home every morning. And so that's her frugalness coming out. She will get the occasional Starbucks. As you can see, it's $18 for the year.
That is 2 Starbucks based on the
Yeah.
current prices at Starbucks. So she twice got Starbucks in 2020.
Sometimes she'll get a gift card to Dunkin'. Her friends know that she drinks coffee, and so she'll get some gift cards to Dunkin' every once in a while too. So that's in there. But yeah,
$18.
her coffee spend is very low. And then groceries is clearly our biggest at 12,000. And then on the restaurant side, we don't eat out very much at all. Almost all, I'd say probably 1,400 of the 1,800 on restaurants was while we were on vacation in Hilton Head. So that's primarily what we're when we're going out. And I really just enjoy eating at home. I also am pretty focused on my diet as well, and I can just eat a lot healthier at home. So, and then on the takeout side is one thing. This has dropped a lot in the last couple of years. I used to eat out for lunch every day at work. And then when we started going back into work after COVID, I started bringing my food and making my lunch at work. And so I used to that was one of the reasons why I broke it out into what I call my fast food category, is just to track how much I was spending on lunch at work every week. So that's definitely come down. But like that includes like all the times that I'm out racing and I'm getting food on the go is in the takeout category there. Almost none of that takeout is in Atlanta. Pretty much we almost never do takeout in Atlanta. We're always doing it's takeout on the road when we're traveling or outside of our home area per se.
So, Andrew, one of the things that I'm interested to see in your food budget next year, or even just, the first half of 2024, is you're getting we've been texting a lot about this, you're getting very interested in not going fully vegan, but moving to a more plant-based diet.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see if that impacts your budget in any way.
I am too. I've thought about that. FYI, at Costco, I bought almost of the 20 items I bought, I think only 3 of them were non-vegan. So
Nice.
yeah,
Impressive.
yeah. So I'm definitely moving in that direction. So we'll see how long it lasts and how it's I'm definitely gradual. Like I'm picking my spots. I've been super impressed that I have been able to remove milk. Like if you told me 4 weeks ago, Andrew, that you would not have any milk for an entire week, I'd be like, absolutely no way. There's no way in the world I am not drinking milk, and I've been able to do it. So.
Yeah.
Like just drinking a glass of milk?
Yeah. I consumed a lot of milk. I loved it. I have cereal.
It's because someone told you that milk does a body good, which is major propaganda.
That ad campaign
It does
really
not
worked.
do a body good.
So I eat a big bowl of cereal every night before I go to bed in order so I can sleep. Basically, if I don't eat just before I go to bed, I'll wake up hungry. And so I always have a big bowl of granola and milk. And I never thought about having non-dairy milk. Like I didn't even know that oat milk existed. I didn't even know soy milk existed. And then I tried it one night with oat milk. I was like, whoa, this actually isn't that bad at all.
Yeah, it's kind of better.
Wait, I actually don't know because I just haven't bought milk in a very long time. But what's more expensive, like milk that comes from a cow or like milk that comes from plants?
No, milk that comes from plants. I mean, you're basically, it's about
That's
twice.
more
Plant
Milk
milk
is about twice as expensive as cow milk. So cow milk is $2.70 a gallon at Kroger, and it's $2.70 for half a gallon of soy milk, and it's probably more like $4 to $5 for oat milk. But one thing that and this is like very budget related, and Liz, I'm definitely stealing this from you because you use the phrase like, I'm not looking to save money on groceries. Like over the last 2 weeks, I've definitely flipped my mindset on groceries and food, and it's not somewhere where I want to cut anymore. And so I'm definitely like buying the plant-based milk at twice as expensive as the cow milk does not even register in my mind anymore.
Yeah,
like I was just like, I don't care.
Right.
And so, we'll see. I don't know. The biggest thing is my kids. My kids' diet definitely needs some improvement. And so, I'm hopefully going to try and set a better example. I think Crystal is super skeptical. So
Hey, I know you watched You Are What You Eat, which is the new Netflix special on like the twin study. We're a little bit into it. We actually are watching it with our kids, and they're like really asking a lot of questions about it. And fun fact too, a big like original Friends on Fire fan that I know through that, and that I've actually met in person at a conference we were both at, is one of the twins in the study. He's not one of the ones followed. He's like apparently in like the final episode when they show everybody, but they only followed 4 sets of the twins, like for most of it.
Yeah.
But he's one of the twins in the study, which I thought was like pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like going plant-based it can go in either direction. Like lentils are very inexpensive. Oat milk apparently very expensive. Beyond Burgers are like killer every time we like buy a pack of those.
I just bought those tonight for the first time, so I'm going to try them.
But not the ones from Costco are not the best. The best ones, they don't have them at Costco. They're the Beyond Burger, the cookout style. They're like smaller but thicker, and they're so good.
Gregory shapes even the ones that come as a different shape. He like reshapes them.
Oh, you can reshape it.
Well, it's not so much the shape; it's just the like quantity. So we'll get the Impossible. I prefer Impossible over Beyond.
Interesting.
I mean, they're both really good, but if I have a choice, I just like the Impossible.
I prefer
really,
whatever Greg prepares.
But so we'll get the like frozen patties. But like for the kids, I can take 2 quarter-pound patties, mush them together, and split them in 3 for the kids. They don't need a quarter-pound patty. So
They won't
and then
eat
I'll
it.
add
They'll
some
finish
like
it.
garlic powder and stuff in there, some salt and pepper, just to make the taste even a little better. So
let me know when burger night is. I'll be right over.
Well, and
yeah, we'll do that. That would be fun, actually.
Yeah, if only we didn't live.
Whenever we do our like corporate retreat,
Yeah,
our like
yeah.
inside out money, it'll be all Beyond Burgers.
Okay.
Erica's not here, so she doesn't get to
Yeah.
vote.
Well, she's on Monarch now, so she gets invited in 2024.
But definitely, like, I think I'm very interested on the spend thing, Maggie, because people talk about how, that eating fruits and vegetables and healthy stuff is more expensive. And
Well, my assumption was that it was the opposite. So
that it'll be cheaper.
Yeah,
Right.
because it depends how much and what kind of meat you consumed. But in general, not consuming meat, I think, saves you money.
Yeah.
Now, it depends if you're eating a lot of imitation meats, like vegan imitation meats can be pretty expensive. We don't eat them like every single day though.
Yeah.
We eat like a lot more tofu, which is like pretty inexpensive actually. So like while nut milks are more expensive than dairy milk, a lot of other things we eat are less expensive, I believe. We eat a lot of like grains and beans and things that are like very inexpensive.
But I really do think it can go either way. Like
I
because we
agree.
don't
I think
eat-
you're right. Yeah.
because it depends on, again, to your point, what else you're eating. But like fruit is really expensive. Like fruit is a huge part of our grocery budget. It drives it up a lot. Nuts are really, depending on like how you buy, right? Like I am hooked on pre-shelled pistachios, and
They're
they're
pricey.
like,
Yeah.
they're really expensive.
Yeah.
But I think, Andrew, to your point, like I think I had this mind shift around groceries. Yeah, like if the crackers I like are on sale, I'm gonna like stock up. Or if I might think like, oh, do I really want this like organic hot chocolate? Could I have the regular? But when it comes to like spending money on fruit, spending money on like nuts, spending money on, you know, the things that I know are good for me, like additive to my health.
Yeah, definitely nuts and fruit. And one big thing is I got a Vitamix. So this is actually what like kicked it off. Was my team got me a $300 gift card to Williams-Sonoma for Christmas. And I went, I was like, I was thinking about what to get. And I'd heard that like people love their Vitamixes so much. Like when you look at the top 10 brands that people love, Vitamix is on there. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to splurge. And so I put some more money against it and I got a really nice Vitamix. And then I made a smoothie for the first time. And I've never had smoothies, like never go to Smoothie King, nothing. And I had...
Wait, you never had a smoothie before?
Nobody goes to Smoothie King anymore anyways, but...
I maybe have had like 2 smoothies in my life. Like it is not like... I can't tell you the last time I had a smoothie, basically.
Yeah.
And
I don't mean to break your heart, but like you don't have to buy a $600 blender to have a smoothie. This is like when you were like, did you know about this one rice
cooker?
yes, right?
Yes, it's like this. Like so, I went
no
like
one ever told you they all do that. Did you own a blender?
Is on the list as well, and so I was like, you know, let's. So I got the Vitamix, and I'd gone out for a 5-hour ride, and came back and had a smoothie, and I was like, this is amazing.
I'm shocked for someone who needs to pack in as much calories as you do for your cycling that you never got it in a liquid form with like, you know, protein and you know all these other things.
Yeah, I started I started drinking chocolate milk.
Sorry, Liz needs a moment. Are you okay?
I know.
No, I just love that you're like, hang on. Like Andrew is like, did you guys know that if you put fruit in a blender, it's delicious?
Yeah, it's really good.
I know. Liz is like, Andrew, you really need to live a little more.
I know. No joke. There were text messages between Andrew and I was like, and then you put some like soy milk in if you want, or you could do water,
avocado.
And I was like, and you can make it like more liquidy or thicker, and you know.
And so I did the first 2 smoothies with milk, and then I started reading up about what people put in smoothies, and someone was like, I put soy milk in my smoothie, and I was like, oh, let me try that. So I got 3 different non-dairy milks from Lidl, and I put the soy milk one in, and I was like, I don't even taste the soy. Well, first of all, I did the taste test. I did the soy milk, the almond milk, and the oat milk. I got all 3 of them from Lidl, came home, poured 3 glasses out, tasted all of them by themselves. Soy milk, not so good by itself. And then I had my kids taste all of them as well.
Your taste buds will change.
Yeah,
I
sure
think
they
you'll
will.
say something different about soy milk in a few months.
Maybe.
But I feel you.
But then the soy milk in the smoothie, you don't taste that soy at all. And so, you know, it's got 7 grams of protein per serving in it. So I love it as a recovery drink. And so it's starting. I started with that, and I started watching videos. I watched all these Netflix documentaries while riding for 5 hours on the trainer, and then so it started into this whole thing of me now going down the I'm plant.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, this is going to be a vegan vegetarian podcast in 2024.
Well, if you have a Vitamix, you could also make your own nut milks.
Yes,
I told him that.
Yeah, that looks like a lot of work, but
he's not there yet, Liz. He's still just discovered smoothies, to be clear.
Yeah,
but he's also been making soups.
I made soups. So
have you had soup before, Liz? Sorry.
What is this soup you speak of? It's
hot soup?
Yeah.
You can make gazpacho in there too. Cold soup too, Andrew. All the soups. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, we're now way off topic.
Okay.
About Andrew's Vitamix
Speaking
and
of soups,
vegan exploratory discussions.
I'm really excited for your veganism. Not that you're becoming a vegan. I'm just that you're moving more plant based. And I say that because I care about you, and
Thank you.
It impacts your health,
and
also
that.
you're like a serious athlete, and you're going to see some cool stuff.
You know, one term I like for someone that's not like or who's trying to get more plant-based is the blue zones. It's a study that was there's these. So Dan Buettner, who's the guy who did all that, he calls it a plant slant, which I kind of like too. You know, because for some people saying veganism might be off-putting, but plant slant makes it. You know, the priority should be plant-based foods
where possible.
You know, So anyway, that's a term I kind of like.
Nice. I like that. Yeah.
I like
plant
it.
slanting, like it. Okay. So
Maggie and Greg, did you eat any food?
Well, we did. What's funny is when you guys talk about feeling like Andrew, even when you're like, I don't want to be like frugal and like pull back on my food spend. I feel the same way. So it's funny. I don't feel like we're like suffering or like trying to be, overly frugal with our food spend. I will say, with restaurants, and I'll go through ours in a minute, but like with restaurants, that's the only one where I feel like I'm like, quote, depriving myself in any way, I guess, of like, there are times that I like want to eat out and I have to kind of like, I will stop myself for budgeting or like for just, but it's more like for intentional reasons of like, I don't always feel good after I go out to a restaurant. Like I feel overly full. I'm kind of like, I could have made something better myself at home of like what I really like. And so I just have like, mixed feelings about some restaurant spend, but I don't feel like we're like depriving ourselves in any way. And sometimes I'm like, how is our food spend so low? But, we primarily shop at Aldi and Sam's Club for 90% of our groceries, maybe 80%, and then like, 10 to 15% at Trader Joe's from time to time. And we have kind of shifted that because now we're doing a lot of Lidl too, but I kind of put Lidl in the same category as Aldi. Greg's having a shift.
I didn't know you went to Lidl. I thought you always did Aldi.
More recently, there's a Lidl closer to us now, and Greg is like having a little plant slant towards Lidl.
Well, I just
digging it.
Yeah, Aldi's just always out of stuff. They're always out of soy milk.
They're always out of soy milk,
and it just pisses me off. I
He
just
gets
start
really-
to
he
get.
gets- Greg
I
doesn't
drive
get angry
all the
about
way
a lot.
there,
He
and
gets
I'm like, they're
pissed when
fucking
they're
out
out.
again. Like, it's just really.
It's not
annoys
personal.
Me.
There's like supply chain issues.
Well, Lidl doesn't have them.
You're right. That's fair. It is personal.
Maggie, I
Yeah.
bought a case of soy milk at Costco today.
That's what I
It
told
was
Greg. They
it was
do
$10
not have it.
for a whole case. So
They do not have it at.
the
It's in
Brookhaven
the
one?
refrigerated section, right?
No, not refrigerated.
Oh.
They have the
Well,
almond milk in the
I will
refrigerated section.
Break
They have
down
the
what's
oat
you
milk
about-
and the soy milk is in the non-refrigerated. It's shelf stable.
Are you about to tell us something about the shelf stable is?
Mm.
Oh.
Just that, there are people who wouldn't drink like shelf stable plant milk because of like the preservatives that they have to put in it.
That's interesting.
I had a former, not a former friend, like that sounded dramatic, just a friend who I don't hang out with that much anymore, but who I used to, who is like, she was like, oh, you look for this thing in the label, like any kind of milk that doesn't need to be refrigerated, like you don't want to drink. And I don't know if she was
It has
right or
the-
not,
like
but
people talk about the emulsifiers or the gums and the
Yeah.
other stabilizers.
Yeah.
We only drink the shelf stable as like, we'll sometimes keep some as like an emergency. So if we run out of milk, it's nice to have. But we pretty much buy refrigerated. Look, the price at Lidl and Aldi's fantastic on soy milk anyways. It's a very good price. Twice the price if you buy it at Target. So I'm like always impressed. I don't think people realize how much you can save by shopping at Aldi and Lidl. And I think, Liz, like do you shop a lot at Whole Foods?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, that really like we do every now and then we'll shop at Whole Foods for something and we'll just kind of be in the area or something, or we're going to get like Hot Bar and get some things.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Like we will get like, a bag worth of stuff and it's the same thing for like a whole cart worth of stuff at Aldi.
I know.
So, I mean, that might be one way that, our bill is significantly lower.
Yeah.
Is we're not eating like a cyclist and we're not shopping at like Whole Foods.
Yeah, I
very
think we
much.
eat pretty like basic foods at home, or not fancy
Simple.
foods.
Yeah,
Simple.
like-
And I really do think, I get frustrated with Aldi about their certain outages, but I think their product quality, and I think Lidl's pretty good too. It's like very good product quality for very, very reasonable prices. I'm sometimes shocked. I will fill up a cart and think, oh gosh, this is going to be a lot. And it's like $100.
Yeah.
I mean,
Their
it's
tofu's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
Their fruit and vegetables are pretty good, even though we get most of our fruit and vegetables from Sam's because the volume we're eating is much higher. But we get like, their tofu's good. They've got great dark chocolate and these little like individual, small single serving packs.
things like
Anyways.
cereal is very affordable there.
Yeah. The
Um,
kids actually like recently I bought some like name brand Cocoa Puffs at Sam's and they were like, we don't like these. The ones from Aldi are better. And I was like, well, sweet.
Whoa.
I know. I was
Nice.
like, sorry, trying to
That
get
is
you something
wild.
special. They really love the cheddar. It's kind of like the Aldi version of Pirates Booty. They like love them. Greg and I have been talking about doing some taste tests, some like blind taste tests with some friends on some Aldi products versus like Whole Foods or Publix or other things. It's just, we're going to do an episode on it, but it's just going to take some prep we haven't gotten to.
No, I think that would be a great episode.
I'm down for that.
I don't know. I'm kind of loyal to Whole Foods. I used to shop mostly at Whole Foods, one, convenience because it was closest. And then also like, their values, like what they will stock in the store. You don't really have to look at labels. Like you don't kind of have to look at like what the additives are. And even just like the way they treated their employees, like one of their kind of former co-CEOs was like, he founded like the conscious capitalism movement. Like there was just a lot to like there. And then since they've been acquired by Amazon, I'm like, ooh, probably just haven't.
It's all going in. Yeah.
I haven't wanted to look that closely because I'm afraid I won't like what I find.
Well, Aldi doesn't have any employees, so there's no one to treat nice.
There's no one being exploited.
The Aldi's employees are actually like really friendly. The only employee you'll like ever see is sometimes, someone at the checkout
Yeah.
and sometimes someone doing stocking, and they're always like super friendly. Like there's, help you find stuff. Like,
Do you know what I like about Aldi's? These boots are from Aldi's.
really?
I know, aren't they so cute?
That's so random. Greg goes, seriously?
From a U.S. Aldi
really
or a European Aldi?
No, from right here in the United States.
Wow.
Nice. They don't look like an Aldi shoe. I don't know what an Aldi shoe looks like though, so that sounded like they're not good. Aldi also, I don't even walk down the super buy whatever the thing with all the like merchandise stuff.
Where the
aisle
shoes
is.
are.
Yeah, where the shoes are, because it's just like temptation. It's like walking through Target.
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't need it. I'll buy something.
That's my favorite part.
But it is kind of cool because that stuff never comes back. So those Aldi shoes aren't like everyone at work's going to have the same Aldi shoes. Like that was
True.
like a seasonal thing. That's like
Yeah.
a collector's item
Yeah.
now, basically.
Yeah,
I basically made money by buying them. I think they're
yeah, pretty much.
limited edition.
You're a trendsetter. We didn't actually share our food total, so I'll share it real quick. I was just like pontificating on it that it's low. I think it is the lowest of all three of us, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. 2023 total food, including for this summary, I moved the food out of our travel budget because when we travel, we track that food separately because we're often like kind of eating out the whole time. So our total food budget for 2023 was $13,753. It was 2.6% less than 2022, where we spent about $14,000.
That's impressive given food inflation.
Do you think it's because you traveled less? Like, was the travel food a lot lower?
Yeah, well, you can see it in here. Yeah,
26%.
travel food in
Oh,
2022 was
So that was-
4,960. Yeah, it was down 26% because that 6-week trip we spent a lot on
Yeah.
food while traveling.
Yeah.
But still, the overall number was down.
No,
And
totally.
so, I'll run that high to low. So groceries was 5,768. Restaurants was 3,922. Travel food, which is a mix of grocery shopping while traveling and like when we're staying in an Airbnb and restaurants, is 3,632. Alcohol and bars, $369. And Greg separately tracked eating and coffee that he gets while Ubering, which actually that's a business expense. So you should have pulled it
No,
out.
it's
But it was,
not a business.
Oh, it's not. It's
deduct-
not, sorry.
I just like to track it separately.
I don't do the taxes, folks. Don't quote me.
That's a
Sorry.
write-off. You sound like
I know. I like Greg knows I love to be like, that's a write-off. And he's like, no, it isn't. Don't worry. I'm not doing our taxes. But yes, when he's driving, I like that he separately tracks it because it's sort of like he wouldn't have been eating out if he wasn't out working.
Yeah.
But it's only $62. So good on you.
Well,
dude.
and I only started.
$5 a month.
I only started tracking it separately recently, so it's probably
okay.
more than
Well,
$5 a month. But
Jeez,
yeah.
Greg.
No, I mean the last time to this point of everything's a business expense. Last time we rode in an Uber, Maggie, so that's probably a business expense because this is like training, right? Aren't you
yeah,
learning
yeah.
from?
Well, you were asking that guy, so he was like, you were teaching him things, and I was like, this feels like a business expense. We've been talking about the Uber business for 30 minutes. Okay, so that's on average per month, $1,146. I will admit, like your mom came in town for 1 week, and like we went grocery shopping while she was here. She bought us groceries. That's not in here, but that was like the only real bogey on this. This is how we eat. We do eat a lot of simple things. And our kids are with us. I mean, I remember someone one time commented about like, we're a blended family, so sometimes the kids are at other houses. They are at our
That
house
was
every
me.
day after school. Oh, that was you.
Sorry. You're like, someone made a rude comment.
Jeez, people on the internet, y'all. Okay,
Well, I was just saying, because you were saying, I
no,
mean,
that's a fair point.
This is $480 a month for 5 people, like 3 teenagers and 2 adults. I mean, that is like phenomenally low. But I was just trying to point out, like, the teenagers, I think sometimes.
What I would say is our food equivalent is the equivalent of having 2 kids, if you kind of estimated. Like we one time did the math, and I think it was like 1.8 or 9 or something. But all of the kids are at our house every day after school, and they come home and eat. They're like hungry, and they just pile it in food. And I'm always like, you're going to eat dinner in like 30 minutes at someone else's house. Stop eating. But they're, they're with us like more than 50% of the time, and they are there every afternoon. And like, we do a lot of trips and other stuff. And so, but yeah, it would say I wouldn't compare it to another family of 3 where their 3 kids are with them 100% of the time. But also we have 3 girls. Girls eat less than the average like teenage boy, I would say. And Greg and I eat eat like we said, pretty simple. Like we just make, I don't know how to describe it, but like we're just like we eat. It's not like we eat rice and beans every night, but like
We're also not
I
like
don't
buying
know.
really nice steaks and,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
that may cost $20 in cooking those. Like the true cost of the food we cook every night, I mean, it's probably $4 sometimes in food
I agree on
cost.
that. Yeah.
You know, it's pretty affordable.
I'm very
food.
happy with the pasta and like pasta sauce each night.
yeah.
I feel like our food spending, I just love convenient food, right? Like cheese sticks, like, you know, the broccoli that they already cut up into
Yeah.
small pieces for you.
Mhm.
Like,
I will say we don't ever do that. Like I will never buy like pre-cut fruit.
Wow.
I'm frugal. I'm not frugal about like the goodness of what I'll put in my body, but I am frugal about like convenience and like I won't, not always. Sometimes, you know, I've had like stuff on Instagram where I'm like the price of avocado toast
yeah.
inspired me to like have a good snack drawer for the kids, which we invest in. But like for environmental and frugality reasons, like I don't always buy the individual bags of goldfish. I buy the big old bags from like Sam's and I put them in Tupperware containers for lunches and stuff. And so, you know, we do things like that keep our bills down. And I would say I do that primarily for financial reasons, a little bit for like environmental and like the waste of packaging, but mostly for frugality.
Yeah. I think that that's like the better way to be, knowing myself, and that I want to be a person who eats broccoli. Like I won't eat the broccoli. Like if I bring home a head of broccoli, I will just put the broccoli in the refrigerator. It will stay there for 2 weeks and then it will go in the compost bin. If it's
Yeah.
already cut up, then I will actually eat it.
Meanwhile, our kids come home every day and are like, there's no food here. And I'm like, there's so much food in this house. Stop it.
You're like, just cut up the broccoli, take out the
I mean,
boiler.
Greg did have to like, the kids wanted carrots last night and he was like, he had to like peel the carrots and then cut them up because they're in like sticks, you know? But the kids actually prefer carrot sticks. I ask them like, do you want baby carrots, which aren't even that expensive, or do you want
Yeah,
carrot
they're not.
sticks? And like, they like carrot sticks right now. They're going through their, you know, some, anyways.
That's
okay.
trendy.
Yeah. We don't spend a lot on food somehow. I'm not sure what's going on.
It's amazing.
Okay. We're long
Yeah.
here.
A little bit.
Greg's like, I'm not one out.
Yeah.
We could have almost done 2 episodes, like one for just food.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you
I
could break this
into
up.
2.
Yeah, that'd be kind of
I
cool.
could break it into 2. Oh, that might be actually. This is such a popular episode.
Yeah, just do part 1, part 2.
Okay. So let's do, we did get a question from Instagram about our utility spending. And someone said, especially since you and Andrew are in Atlanta like me. So let's hit a couple of like utility related categories. So one is cell phones. That's an easy one. Liz, what do you spend on your cell phone a month? And with who?
It averages to $35 a month, but we pay it usually annually. We use Mint Mobile. I think, do we all
And that's
use
per
Mint Mobile?
person.
Yep.
No, we use Visible.
Oh, yeah, that's
You
right.
and
Yeah.
Andrew use
Yeah.
Mint. Yeah. Oh, wait, 35 per person? Or-
No, it's
No.
for both.
Oh, that's like really good.
Yeah. Ours is $30 for 2 lines.
Yeah, it's a little bit more because sometimes we pay a little bit extra for like international or by the like eSIM
Right.
or whatever, but total for the year.
Do you have unlimited data?
No,
2
because
gigs. We just have
I
2
have
gigs
internet
together.
at my house.
Yeah. Do you have a child who doesn't understand that and can use a crazy amount of data outside of your house? Yeah. No, I think we could be okay without it, but we're both on, ours might be the highest then. We're both on Visible and we pay $25 each per month, so $50 a month. And then we have one additional, so my daughter is also on our bill, so that's another $25 for hers. I really get my money's worth with the unlimited data on hers. And I had her on Mint for a while and she, within sometimes 4 days, I don't think they understand. They just like leave things on. They just like walk away and like, you know, something's playing.
But like last year we spent $1,200. We were $100 a month, so we've spent $1,200. This year we spent $435
That's because you moved.
Nice.
to
because we
Mint.
moved to Mint. Yeah.
Yeah,
So like
that's awesome.
right off the bat, $800 savings just
Yeah.
on the cell phone.
Whether it's Mint or Visible, these are all what are called prepaid plans, I think, is
Yeah.
the big distinguishing
Yeah.
factor from your traditional plans. And to the end consumer, really doesn't make that big of a difference. You pay at the beginning of the month as opposed to the end. You either prepay for
Yeah, Greg, just to clarify, we're both Mint and Visible though are considered like low cost, like no frills players. You can also, they all are also prepaid, but you can also move to a prepaid plan on, if you're just on Verizon or on AT&T or whoever, you can stay in the same with that company. I mean, I recommend you move to like Visible or Mint, but you don't even have to. You could still get that $100 plan down to like $40 on staying with Verizon or AT&T, just as an example. And I think many people do not realize that.
Cell phone service can be really cheap if you try, is
Yeah.
really the lesson here.
agree.
All right, should we talk about internet? And cable?
Yeah.
Does anyone have cable still?
No.
No.
I used to log into my mom's, but that recently got taken away from
Yeah,
me.
we cut the cord about 3 years ago.
Internet?
Internet, unfortunately, we only have one option, Comcast, so we pay $40 a month.
Ours is like between $50 and $60 a month, but I also tend to throw in, like if I buy an app or something, or, like spend $3 for the paid version of an app, then I just throw that into my internet category because I don't know where else to put it.
Oh, there's one big asterisk on that $40 is I have to call up and threaten to cancel pretty much every year.
Yeah.
So every year they put it up to 80, and then I have to call them up and say I'm going to cancel, and they're like, "Oh, you know what? We'll keep you at the 40." Literally every
Yeah.
single year.
Oh, we found a new deal
Yeah.
we can apply.
And so it's like that's a $500 phone call that takes me about 10 minutes, and so
You're like-
I do that every year.
Talk to you next year, Ted.
Yeah.
Tell your wife I said hello.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, I was excited. This year, I got them to do it for 2 years. So I got a 2-year quote promotional plan for the $40 a month. I've
Yeah.
had the same one for the last 5 years.
They should just give us a direct line to the retention department.
Right,
Where
exactly.
they send you when you threaten. Greg, what is our internet bill?
I think it's 45, 40 to 45, somewhere in there. And we've definitely had to make those same calls.
What about Andrew is like very interested in all of our cable bills, which we do not have. But what about, do you track streaming and like what you spend on?
Yeah,
Me
so
too.
I have what I call online services / subscriptions. So I put things like my password manager, my photo service, SmugMug, anything that's an online service. And the 2 subscriptions we have are Disney Plus for the kids, and then I really broke out the big bucks and subscribed to Netflix last summer.
Ooh.
And
Big
when the Tour de
spender.
France
Hey.
documentary came out, I wanted to watch it. So I kept it. I've liked it. I watch it while I'm riding inside on my bike. So,
Nice. Well, what is it average, do you think, like per month?
well, our online services subs was $9.54 for the year.
So that's like 70 something a
Yeah.
month. Ours is, this is one place I spent less than Andrew. Oh, yeah. It's like the
Nice.
only place. It's not a competition, but also I win because I spent the most, so I had the most fun. But our streaming total was $500 for the year, about $40 on average per month. And this is like one place where I am very frugal, and I do not pay for more than one streaming service. I mean, sometimes they overlap by a few days,
Mhm.
but if I watch Netflix, I will watch everything I want to watch on Netflix and then cancel it and then do Hulu for a month and then cancel it and be like, oh, actually, Sex and the City's back on. I'm going to do HBO Max for a month. And then I swap around.
I like that approach.
Yeah. And this also includes like, I think I accidentally paid for Audible for a couple months. This includes Spotify, that kind of stuff.
That is what my approach has always, like my strategy has been, Liz, but my execution has been very poor. Like we've just sort of like gotten lazy. Like when we were doing our expense review, like for this, in prep for this episode, the other night we sat in bed and like canceled a bunch of crap because we were like, oh, what's all this stuff that's still turned on? Greg, does this include our Apple streaming thing?
It does, yeah.
In our streaming services? Okay. We're at $836 for the year, which on average is $69 a month, which is, I mean, the
Nice.
Apple one is a big one within that. But I feel like towards TV the way you feel towards food, Liz. Like I shall spare no
You just
expense.
spend
Yeah.
the quality of life thing.
Yeah, totally. Not really. We've been a little like lazy because that has always been and we do value the Apple. We pay like, it's gone up to like almost $40 a month now. The Apple thing is like $38 a month. And we get Apple Music, we get Apple Fitness, which I do use a lot. We get Apple TV, which we don't use that often, but it has some good shows.
Apple News Plus, which is like a bunch of magazines and
You use
audible
that.
audio magazines, which I like.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyways, that one's a little high, but I'm also not sweating like an
Yeah.
$800 budget category personally.
Mm-mm.
Another utility category that's good to compare is the combined electricity and natural gas. And so like, our electricity bill in the summer is really high for air conditioning, and then our natural gas bill offsets that in the wintertime to heat the house. So the combined total, it depends on what kind of system you have for HVAC, but that's what's your setup, Liz?
Listen, we were just having this conversation. Neither one of us is especially handy around the house. And I was like, what's the heat? Like, is that gas or is that electric? I was like,
Probably a mix.
I don't know. I didn't understand, so I don't break it out. But the total that we spent for the year was a little under $2,500, which is averages to like $207 per month.
For just those two, or is there like other stuff like water?
No, that's just for gas and electric.
Okay.
Is that high or low? I don't know.
That's
I
right
think
where ours is $2,600.
we try to be like pretty frugal about it. This year we've been like even more like setting the thermostat really low. Like when I come into my office in the morning and turn on my space heater, it's like the current temperature is 58 degrees. Like it is freezing in here.
Mm-hmm.
But it stayed the same. And the only thing I can think is maybe charging the electric car is kind
Yes.
of like offsetting what we're saving, even though we mostly charge at work because I'm cheap about it and I will take free electrons anywhere I can get them,
Nice.
even though it's only like a couple bucks. I charged today. I was pumped. I charged for free today and I was like kind of low and I went all the way up to 100% because I knew I had to drive home.
I think that's great
Yeah,
to
that
get. I
is
mean, even
cool.
though it's a couple bucks a day, like that adds up
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So ours for the year is $2,900.
for just gas and electric.
Gas and electricity, yeah.
I noticed it's gone up a lot since we've retired. 'Cause, I mean, we were like,
Well, the electric car is going to drive your electric.
oh, that's
bill.
true.
That's
That's true.
going to be pretty meaningful.
So yeah, we average $242 a month. And I do think you're right, Maggie. I do think, we are home every day. So we used to be pretty good when we weren't home. We would set our nest to get cooler or warmer depending on the season, and that's really not the case now. And then we're not just charging the electric car, but with the Uber driving, there's
Yeah, you're
days
charging
where
a lot.
I'm using a full charge every day and then recharging it. So some portion of that actually really should be attributed as a business expense, and when I do the taxes, it will be. But at this point, it's still just included in the
And that's hundreds of dollars. It's not like thousands.
right. I think
yeah.
I think I did a rough estimate earlier in the year, and I think it's 300 or 400, probably something
Yeah.
like that.
Cool.
Okay. Any other questions?
I mean, there technically are some other questions. So I got one question. Andrew, do Andrew and his wife stick to a budget or expense track after the fact?
We expense track after the fact.
Same.
So we don't have.
I think we all do it
Yeah.
that way.
I think we all do, yeah.
People only want to know about Andrew though.
I know, yeah, specifically Andrew. That person really, I think that person, I've actually texted with that person before. I think they've just heard more from us over the
Got
years. Do you put a fun dinner out with alcohol in the food or fun category? I don't have a fun category.
I don't either.
We do have an adult entertainment category. Greg, what is in that? Could you please define
we
that?
renamed it
But
to.
I saw it a minute ago and I was like, what's
Hold
in
on.
there?
Is
We
that an
spent a lot of
expense?
money.
Is that an expense or an income category?
expense.
So it is now entertainment and recreation. It used to be adult because we basically just wanted to.
We broke out kids.
Anything we were doing with the kids, like if we go to Six Flags, all of our tickets are going in the kids' activities because we're doing it as a family.
I don't want to go to
versus-
Six Flags, so that doesn't get billed against like something enjoyable for Maggie.
But that really would only include things like tickets to a movie
concert.
or a concert. Or the parking, but food still goes in food. Alcohol still goes in alcohol, even if it's for a fun night out.
Yeah.
Where'd you put those concert tickets we bought? We spent like thousands of dollars on concert tickets.
That went into
for
family.
next
That went
year.
into kids' activities
because we're taking the kids to a
Yeah.
concert they really want to go to, and it
Yeah.
was thousands. It was like 2,000 or 3,000, or maybe more. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was.
Taylor
So that was a big part of that. I didn't even think about that when
But we don't get to go till next year. But we had to buy the tickets. Like they sold out, within quick. Okay. Someone did say, can't wait to hear about food spending, Liz, compared to you and Andrew feeding family. Oh, we already did that. Someone said, bust out our net worth numbers.
No, thank
we
you.
all don't share. Yeah, you're no thank you. We all don't share. We've discussed this before, but for various privacy and personal reasons, we all do not share our net worth numbers. I've said a number of times, if you feel like going and listening to every Friends on Fire episode, I believe you could use information to triangulate my net worth. Go have fun with that project.
Yeah.
And if you're that curious about it. And yeah, we hit most
That is
of
one
it.
thing that I'm always interested in, how Personal Finance Club Jeremy is so transparent.
Well, a lot
with
of
his-
people
I've
are.
sent him
I
like scolding messages. I'm like, it is very easy to find where you live. Like, stop posting pictures of your house. Like, stop. Like, you have your face and your house and your net worth. Like,
He's in
that's
San
like, someone's
Diego, right?
gonna-
I'm headed to San Diego next week. I should go look for his house. Just kidding, Jeremy. Just kidding. No, I think, but there's a lot of people. Andrew, I think Liz and I spend more time on Instagram following finance people. A ton of people share their net worth.
Yeah.
We just, I think, all have different reasons for privacy reasons, not caring to. But I also don't think it. I mean, like, we've done so much on like how much do you need to retire, and like that's more what it depends what you. And again, you could figure out our net worth if you want to triangulate from some things we've said in various episodes. But yeah, sorry, we do not share them. Sorry, not sorry.
But we can recommend I had someone in my messages the other day, like, you really should share. And I was like, well, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not going to. But I can recommend. I was like, if that's important to you, like, I can recommend like 10 other accounts.
Yeah, that are
who
very
do that.
transparent.
Yeah. Like, but it's
Well, I
like
think people are
into
just curious, which I get. But also it's like, yeah, cool, but I don't. So who's the guy that does, people can submit theirs anonymously or with a name, and then he does the cool chart. He's got
Jade
a name.
Millennial. Is
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah.
So that there's some cool resources and information out there like that. So
Yeah.
okay, we've gone long. This is 2 hours. This might be 2 episodes. I hope people have found this interesting and helpful. We don't even need to do a closer on this episode today. If you want to get in touch, bye. If you want to get in touch with us, our phone number, our social stuff, it's all on the website.
It's like 1,000 other episodes.
Yeah, it's in the show notes. It's all over the place. So you can find us on the interwebs somewhere. It's not that hard. And we really appreciate you listening.
Thank you for listening. We love you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, I always enjoy this. Thanks to you guys, and also thanks everyone.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I always enjoy doing this episode.
I do too. It's fun to compare. And then
Greg, are you going to come
I'm
back?
here, yeah.
I said, are you going to come back
to the next one? Yeah, this was fun.
Are you here?
I thought you meant come back, like say something in the closing.
Yeah,
I don't-
no, right
yes.
now. No. Oh, like
Yeah.
give a
Right.
comeback. No, I get you. I
Yeah,
get
this
you.
was fun. I
see
enjoyed
you.
it, and I will be back.
If it's optional next time, will you come
Yes.
back to the next
I will
expense
be
review?
there.
Okay, that's cool. Good answer. Okay, well, thanks, guys and ladies, everyone,
Thank
all
you.
y'all, people, folks.
Greg, I just realized, did I answer your food question? Did we come back to that? What was the question you had for me on food? Was it restaurants?
I think it was just restaurants.
Restaurants. I think I covered it.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
I think
It was how much you spend on coffee. $18. We got it in.
$18.
We got it.
$18. That's like
Yeah. I think that was actually in our mid-year expense review. You spent that 18 first half of the year, which means you spent nothing.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think we talked about like your $1,000 dinner, Liz, and then his
Yeah.
$18 on coffee. And my medical expenses, or our medical
Yeah, I
expenses.
think Crystal's the room parent for our kids' classroom, and she
so she
does an amazing job.
She'll
And
get some thanks.
both of her teachers have given her Dunkin' Donuts gift cards.
Oh, that's
Nice.
nice. So she can actually spend $40 a year on coffee instead of 18. Splurge. Wild.
when you start getting oat milk, they charge you extra.
They do. It's 70 cents. I'm telling you, Starbucks is killing me. You get your drink, you want oat milk, and you
I
want
don't know how you
a
buy your kids
flavor,
Starbucks.
and it's a $9 drink. I don't do it that often, but I
It'd be like
splurge.
$30
I need to
bucks?
start breaking that.
The place made
Yeah,
me, it's
it's
$1.25 extra
For what?
for oat milk.
Oh my goodness.
Starbucks is 70 cents, and then the flavoring. I mean, it's like $1.40 for the two like add-ons.
I don't understand why plant milk costs more than milk that comes from a cow. You don't have to keep a cow alive to get
It's subsidies,
plant
I
milk.
think.
I was going to say there's a lot of subsidies in milk.
Government
Farming
subsidies.
subsidies
yeah.
are very weird. They basically
It's a
drive
big conspiracy.
people to obesity.
Yeah.
But isn't
It's why
soy
sugary
subsidized?
cereals are so cheap.
Isn't like soy one of the biggest subsidized
Well,
crops?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually probably true. I don't know.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't come here for data on. I'm not even sure if this is going to get released. Not the episode. This part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I
bye, y'all.
figured we were done. Sorry,
yeah,
I
we were
thought
done.
we were
Yeah.
chatting.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
Maggie. Bye, Greg. Bye, Andrew. Bye, friends.
Bye, everyone.
Andrew, say
Bye,
bye.
everyone.
I like how Maggie, you were like smiling.
I said bye. I was like,
Oh,
what?
I know. I know you said it earlier when